Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the Political Brown Kid here, and I want to touch on or respond to really a video that I saw from another YouTuber who has a relatively good amount of followers. But I just feel as though these YouTubers that have these followings are misleading people, specifically our black people. We have black YouTubers that, they have a platform. I don't have a big platform. You can look at the numbers on my site. I don't have subscribers. I don't have viewership, and that's nothing to brag about. But it's just that the people who are trying to help the black community aren't getting listened to. And you have people like these other YouTubers that are spreading basically harmful and detrimental content um, in regards to the black community. They're the ones getting the attention. So therefore, they're shaping the minds of the rest of America, black and white, in regards to black people issues. And what I'm talking about is basically Deion Sanders' flight from an HBCU, which is Jackson State, to Colorado, whether it's University of Colorado, Colorado State. I think it's University of Colorado. He's going to a PWI. And so this YouTuber, whose initials are ODJ, I'll just leave it at that, so you know who you are, basically is saying that black people need to get over Deion Sanders leaving. Sanders has a right to leave. Deion Sanders put in enough time and his own personal money into the university, and that the other HBCU coaches are haters and that they are not good coaches like Deion and they need to step their game up. And there's so much wrong with what this person has said, ODJ. There's so much wrong with what you've said. First and foremost, just because you win a lot of games, it doesn't make Deion Sanders a great coach. It make a part of it, and a big part of coaching specifically, there's two different parts to coaching when you look at the collegiate level and you look at the professional level. When you look at the professional level, like Bill Belichick, and I'll use him as an example of a professional football coach, that's pure coaching because you coach with the talent that you're given. In football, they have salary caps. You can't just have a bunch of all-stars running around on one team. So when you look at Bill Belichick, you even look at Mike Tomlin, who wins with what he has, never had a losing season. He wins with what he has. That's coaching. But when you go to the collegiate level and you look at a person like Mike Krzyzewski, so I'm jumping to basketball for people who don't know Mike Krzyzewski, the winningest coach in probably the NCAA history, a great coach at Duke University, also coached men's um, the Olympic basketball teams. When you look at the Duke University basketball program, a lot of that winning is attributed to recruiting. I'm not trying to take anything away from Mike Krzyzewski and to not say that he's not a great coach, or even Nick Saban if you want to look at football and you want to look at these other coaches that the coach down in Clemson, Debo Samuels and Dabo Sweeney. I'm sorry, not Debo Samuel, Dabo Sweeney, and all of these coaches. These coaches win a lot of times because of recruiting. You can even look at Dawn Staley for what she's done at the University of South Carolina's female basketball program. She wins because she's a great coach, but she's also a great recruiter. And a part of her recruiting ability is her name. I'm Dawn Staley. Dawn Staley is probably, if no one knows who she is, probably one of the greatest female basketball players to ever play the game. So her name carries a lot of weight. So similar to all of these other coaches, Deion Sanders' presence at Jackson State attracted a lot of talent that would not have stepped foot at a black or HBCU program. He attracted that talent there. And that's what we need is to have all of these players like a LeBron James who skipped college. And think about this. LeBron James was going to go pro and he was going to be the number one pick either way. He could have gone to a HBCU for a year and put that program's name on the map, but he didn't choose to do so. And that's the problem, is that none of the people in our community, in the black community, and again, you can point and look at Claude Anderson and what Claude Anderson preaches, is that black dollars always leave our community at an astronomical rate. It doesn't circulate within our community. The truth can also be said about black talent and black excellence. It doesn't circulate in our communities. As soon as black people get money, they move to a white community. As soon as black people are able to sell a business like Bob Johnson, as soon as they build an empire, they sell it to a non-black entity, or they'll promote non-black people. You can look at Def Jam Records. Um, Russell Simmons promoting Leor Cohen and to CEO and executive of a black record label. We always are quick to divest from our community. And Deion Sanders is doing the same thing. And so if he had stayed and attracted talent, that might convince other famous black people that have played at an NFL level to go to other HBCUs. It could spark the change, and then from those other people going there. Like, let's just picture, for example, let's just take you could take a great from any football team and plug them into an HBCU, and they attract talent there. And then, therefore, now all of the 4-star and 5-star recruits are now at HBCUs. Now, those are the programs that are winning. Those are the programs that are playing in the or getting the major primetime games, like these Clemsons and Georgias and all of these other schools. Now it's the black or the HBCUs getting that spotlight. And that's the key that they're missing. They're just looking at it and seeing, or this, when I say they, I'm talking about ODJ, the YouTuber, and all of the people in his comments and his followers. They're just looking and saying, oh, Deion is doing good. Why can't they let Deion? Why do people have to hate on Deion? They're just looking at it and seeing one black person basically escape the crab in the barrel, looking at him as the crab that made it out of the barrel, but they're not looking at the rest of the crabs in the barrel. All they see is one tree in the forest, and they don't see the forest. You have to say that Deion Sanders, it's not like Deion Sanders is some poor, broke person who just came up. Deion Sanders is rich. He's already been rich. He's probably the greatest NFL cornerback to play that position. He's a Hall of Famer, and he has millions of dollars. So again, my second point is this. This YouTuber ODJ wants to point to the fact that Deion Sanders fixed up the Jackson State locker room and pumped hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not mil. I don't know how much it was because I didn't even know Deion did it. But basically saying that he went in there and put his own money into the university. Well, the question I would say to you is this. Deion Sanders, and these are people that should know Deion. If you don't know Deion's personality, Deion is an idolater. He's a materialistic idolater. And I'm going to leave it at that. You can look at that as being a negative. You can look at it as being a positive. That's on you. But I know Deion Sanders. This is the man who walked around and made a song called Must Be the Money. Went around talking if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Deion is an idolater. And Deion basically fixed that locker room up because he wanted to be comfortable. He wanted to have a fly and flossy environment for him to be in. That's why he did it. No one goes onto their job. You think about this. No one goes onto their job and sits down in their cubicle and says, oh, just for altruistic, I'm just going to be altruistic and just for the good of, myself and the organization, I'm going to, recarpet all of the cubicles, and I'm going to buy brand new cubicle walls and brand new cubicle chairs for everyone in this division because I'm just feeling that much love and or altruistic for everyone to, have nice stuff. No one does that. You wait and you tell the company to do it. It's their building. It's their space that they're either leasing or owning. They should be the ones. You go in, you put in your requisitions, and procurement goes and handles the process of bettering your office space. And Deion Sanders couldn't wait for Jackson State to get it done. He couldn't wait for the program money to come in, so he went in and fixed it up. He just wanted to feel comfortable. So Deion doesn't get presents for that because he had a locker room. It may not have been to his liking, but they provided him with one. So let's get that point off of the table. And then the other point is when this person talks about Deion Sanders is a better coach and the other coaches are just haters because Deion's a winner and they're not. Well, Deion lost the final game. They just lost the final. I think they played in a bowl game or something. They lost the game. So obviously he wasn't the best coach. But still, Deion had a great season there. He was a great recruiter and he put HBCUs on the map. But 1 or 2 years of your presence isn't going to do it. We need blacks that are going to say, we need to be in the trenches for the long term until it's able to stand on its own without us. But we have no sacrifice in us. There's no Martin Luther Kings anymore. There's no Medgar Everses anymore. There's no more Patrice Lumumbas. There's no more none of that because everyone wants instant gratification. They're not prepared. The people of today are not prepared to fight the long fight. They give up real easy because they don't see an immediate solution to whatever problem that there is. And Deion is a part of the problem. You think about this. I mean, everything that I'm saying is true. And ODJ, I hope you're listening. I hope you and your YouTubers are listening. Because you all thinking that it's a great idea for Deion to abandon a HBCU and run over to Colorado State. You all think it's a great idea. And I guarantee you 5 years from now, you'll all be still on the same YouTube channels, either running the same YouTube channels, or you'll be, if you're just commentators and people that post in those YouTube channels, you'll be posting about why can't blacks get ahead? Why can't HBCUs rise up? And a part of it is because the athletic programs, the big part of it is the athletic programs carry a lot of these schools. And that is a fact. That is a fact. The football teams and the basketball teams are the two prominent athletic sports on any campus at any school because those are the sports that bring in the money. And from those sports, you get other sports benefit, the volleyball teams, the tennis teams, and even the universities. When you see these buildings that are on these campuses, it is the athletic money that builds it. Why do you think they would allow an Allen Iverson, who's my favorite player, by the way, basketball player next to Magic Johnson? Why do you think they would allow Allen Iverson, who I know would never qualify to get into Georgetown University, when you need probably a 1,600 on your SATs and straight A's for 4 years in order to just be considered for acceptance into Georgetown University? This man's fresh out of jail and he gets accepted to Georgetown University because Georgetown makes exceptions for black athletes. And I'm not trying to say that all black athletes don't have the academics, but a lot of them don't. But they get accepted into Georgetown, Duke, and a lot of other universities because those universities want the money that those individuals can bring in. And so why can't those talents be at our universities, at a Howard, a Hampton, Delaware State? Why can't the Norfolk State? Why aren't those programs the elite programs? Grambling used to be a powerhouse. It's no longer, it's no more. And for these people that think it's okay for people to divest, particularly Deion Sanders, and they don't have a problem with it. These are the same people that don't have a problem with Jackie Robinson leaving the Negro League and going and playing in the MLB. And then if you ask any kid today, you probably ask anybody from Gen Z or even a millennial. You can ask any millennial or any Gen Z. Hey, you can ask a Generation X, Gen X person. Name two Negro League teams. They can't do it. I can't do it. You don't even know of all of the great players that played in the Negro League because everyone abandons what we have and runs to white institutions and entities. Integration has totally destroyed the black community. And I'm going to do a video on Martin Luther King, your savior. I know Martin Luther King Day is right around the corner, but he was no savior. And I'll talk about that in another video. I'm digressing a little bit just to give you a sneak peek. But Martin Luther King's dream destroyed the black community. And all of this integration for us, again, Jackie Robinson abandoning the Negro League to make the MLB great in 2022, 2023, which we're in the 2020s, we're in the 21st century, you got a bunch of black people crying about a lack of ownership in Major League sports, a lack of executive managers. You don't even have black coaches in the NFL, and you're complaining about that. When yet you're the main drivers for these entities. And instead of looking at owning and creating something from the ground up, which is always going to take time and effort, you want the instant gratification. Deion Sanders, you want the instant national televised games. You want the instant national Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl, whatever type of bowls there are out here, instead of putting in the work and building up a program from nothing. And it may not get done in your lifetime. The one thing I can say about Martin Luther King, he definitely knew about endurance and fighting the good fight. Martin Luther King even said it. We're going to get to the mountaintop, but I may not be there when you get there. And he certainly wasn't. But he understood that this was a battle that he could not abandon. I can disagree with his tactics and his approach, and I definitely do. I disagree with his philosophy and his approach, but at least the one thing I can say is his commitment to the cause. And he knew that it was not going to be something that it could be built overnight. And that's what people fail to understand or even see in this whole Deion Sanders situation. So OBJ, you're going around spreading your poison. You know, some of the things I agree with you on, some of the things I don't on your channel. But on this one particular issue, I have to disagree. And I would hope that you would reconsider your position on this. So that's all I want to say about this. I've already talked long enough. This is the Political Brown Kid. Everybody stay safe. Be well.